What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Off the Grid, our Marvel's Secret Invasion review. My name is Kyle. Thanks for checking out Project Potter, guys. We got our Avengers shirt here, closest thing we have to a Scrolls sort of vibe here. We do have the green backdrop, the Off the Grid backdrop here, which is, again, a little cut off, but with this angle, guys, we're doing the best we can. The green and the yellow sort of fitting for the Scrolls. Sacred symbols just kind of, because it's nice to get in there, but if you haven't seen the series before, thanks for checking out the channel, guys. What I do is go through my favorite character, my least favorite character. I do kind of my favorite scenes or just talk about the episode a little bit, and then a score out of 10, similar to my other reviews, guys. So episode 3 of 6, let's go. So the halfway point here, guys, and I think the show started pretty strong, and I actually thought the second episode built on that a little bit. So I gave it a little bit of a higher score. I think I did 8-1 for the pilot and 8-4 for the second episode. But I wasn't entirely sure where the story was going. We did have a really strong performance from Don Cheadle last week, guys. We have no Cheadle in this episode. We had a lot of Sam Jackson. We had a lot of Ben Mendelsohn. And, man, that accent that they gave Talos, that they gave Ben Mendelsohn, is just so weird. And Ben Mendelsohn's extraordinary acting is like trying to push through that accent, but I kept getting taken out of the moment because his accent's just so weird. But this show again is just struggling with tone, and it's shot so well once again. And there are some like movie-esque shots, dude. When Nick Fury goes into 1998 New York, where he meets his Skrull wife, which is like, did she kill someone and take their face? I don't know. There's like a wide shot where there's like the hamburgers, and it's really nice. And I was like, wow, this looks really nice and clean. And the whole show has looked like that. But they're trying to like juggle this act between like this serious super secret spy thriller and like some of this goofy writing and goofy acting. And I don't understand. I've talked about this, I think, from the pilot, guys. Like, not everything needs to be funny in Marvel. And it's like, Winter Soldier is not a funny movie, and I think I said this already, probably in the pilot, but why are they making everything so funny or trying to make everything so funny? Because it just falls flat, and the comedy's not hitting for me, and I don't want comedy out of a show like this. I want the spy stuff, and we get Emilia Clarke in this episode, and then, spoilers, guys, Emilia Clarke is dead, apparently, but she turns into a Skrull. To get confused, I'm like, does that mean you're really dead? Does that mean you're a Skrull? I think it still means that she is dead, but she was kind of relaying information back to Mendelsohn's character, but she didn't really play. She like got easily caught by Gravik. Like he was like, "Oh, that's weird that we got ratted out because there's only 3 of us that knew about that. It was you, me, and like Bravik or whatever." I was like, "I don't know who Bravik is. I don't remember who that is. I think it's the guy that was True Serum was put in." And she's like, "He made an educated guess." Emilia Clarke is straight up just like, "Oh, I'm a good liar. If you're a good liar, then he's not going to believe anything you're saying because you're just lying, probably." I thought that was weird, but then she like easily gets caught at the end coming back, and I was like, so is Emilia Clarke just dead now? Like, is she off the show? I know she was Mendelsohn's daughter. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not using the character names, but I can't remember. Talos, I know, is Ben Mendelsohn, but I wish that it was a more serious tone, and this show kind of feels like it's trying to like one-up you at every second. Like it's trying to be like, oh, but wait, what if we did this? But shot where Mendelsohn goes and Gravik's there and everyone is Gravik around him. We saw that in the trailer. That was really cool. But then I'm also thinking like, okay, but he knows that that's the real Gravik that he stabs with a fork. So kind of defeats the purpose. If he was chasing Gravik into like the restaurant and then all the Graviks were there and he didn't know which one was which, that would have been cool. But they didn't do that. Ben Mendelsohn was just like, bro, I know this is you. And then he's just like, It's like, he's trying to say that, like, he's got an army, a hidden army, but when they're all Gravik, it doesn't make sense. So, the show is missing something that's really hooking me. There's some phenomenal performances from Ben Mendelsohn. Nick Fury's wife, who's a Skrull, and I thought her performance actually was really good. Their scene where they're talking, and she's like, look, man, I cried for you for 5 years, and I was just about to get past that heartbreak. And then you came back from the blip. And then instead of coming back and us fixing the grief together, you voluntarily left. So she's like, this was your second appearance, but she's like, the only difference was this one was voluntary. And I was like, oh, that was good. I thought she was excellent in this episode for their little scene together. And it shows that like it's not all well and good with Nick Fury's wife. But can we talk about how Nick Fury is just he's just got another eye now? Was that explained somewhere? Was that... he had his eye patch forever, and then he took it off, and his eye was all messed up, and now he's just like wearing glasses around the house, like it's just normal. He's got the scars on there, but it's like they put the scars on and then like for makeup, and then forgot that he's not supposed to have an eye there or something. It was just weird, and I was like, now Nick Fury just looks like a normal dude, and it's part of what's making Nick Fury so cool is like I feel like being taken away from the show, and it's almost like a detriment to his character because we're spending so much time with him, and they're really pushing de-age Nick Fury, and de-age Nick Fury in the '90s looks great. But I'm kind of like, I don't really need de-age Nick Fury, dude. He got the Skrulls together. Okay, he met his wife, but it's like he's not really doing anything. And we're just seeing like old Nick Fury and how he sucks and everything. And I'm guessing they're going to probably turn it around and he's going to have an awesome moment. But it is just kind of like, what's the plan here? What is the end goal? And I don't know. I mean, Gravik's trying to take over. He's like, how about we go Super Skrulls? And I'm like, Super Skrulls should be cool. And it's a cool concept because he's like, we take their powers now. But I'm so tired of like Super Skrulls and Super Soldiers and the Flag Smashers getting the Super Serum. And I'm like, dude, not everything has to be super. It's crazy, dude, because I said it, guys, I love Marvel. I will watch everything Marvel, probably till the day I die. But I'm getting a little bit of fatigue. I'm getting some quality Marvel fatigue because things are just not hitting, really. They're just not. And it's like it's not the sheer volume, it's the quality that hasn't been up there. So yeah, there are a couple scenes, I guess, that were cool, but the whole like airstrike, sub-strike thing felt really weird. I didn't care about that at all, dude. I really didn't. And then, Sam Jackson's interaction with Talos, I thought in the van was great when he's like, you were nothing before me. He's like, every promotion you got in S.H.I.E.L.D., that was us. He's like, every dirt we gave you, he's like, all the work we did, that was us. Awesome job at Ben Mendelsohn there. Because he's like, we did that. And he's like, oh, you're doing the we did that wave. And I love seeing their interactions, but they kind of like are mad at each other. They're kind of fighting against this guy, Bob. And they kept saying Bob, like, we were supposed to know who that is. Like, he's like, what do you think, Bob? And I'm like, is this supposed to be like an inside joke or something? What's going on here? But he's the only one that's got the code, and they got to call off the missile strike, but they don't call it off. And I'm just like, I don't care at all about this, dude. Like, I feel like that was not explained. Like, what are you attacking? It's like kind of Gravik's plan, but then that's kind of how he finds out that Emilia Clarke is like double crossing. But it was so obvious that she was double crossing, and she was just kind of sneaking around a little bit, but she was like easily getting in there. And when she gets the password, which is like his son, she just like kind of walks into that facility where they're like taking the mines, and she just gets it. And then she just walks out. And I'm like, dude, this show is just losing me on like a lot of things where I'm just like, whether it's the silly tone that shouldn't be silly, or it's like the writing that can be subpar, or it's just like the actions or the character actions or the reasoning or the things that pull me out where it's like, well, someone would definitely find her and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. I really wish I liked the show more than I did. And we'll get into my kind of favorite characters and least favorite characters, guys. But I think this was the weakest episode so far. My favorite character, though, guys, for this episode, Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. Again, his accent's so really weird, and I wish he just had like the American accent, like I think he has in The Outsider. I don't remember because The Outsider was a very disappointing show, but he was really good in it. But I feel like I don't think it's his natural accent, but his American accent is so good, and it almost like peeks through. I feel like his accent was kind of going in and out in this episode, but he's really great in this episode. And even though his accent is like, it's bugging me, but the great acting is shining through. Where he's like, tense when he's like kind of waiting for Emilia Clarke to text him back for the code, and he's fighting with Fury, and he's like, Fury, we did all of that, dude. He's like, you got to give me credit. But the show's tone, I don't want to discredit Ben Mendelsohn, even though I'm not loving the tone of the show. Mendelsohn, I think, has been great, and I like to see his interactions with Fury, and it's been kind of weird because like Fury told him to get off the train last time, and he just got off the train, but now he's back, and he's trying to tell him like all these Skrulls are here, and he's got inside information, but then Fury's not really listening, and it's interesting because they say like, oh, you've known me for 30 years and you still don't like know that I'm not on graphic side or whatever. And sometimes I feel like Fury and Talos just met like 5 minutes ago. It doesn't feel like they've been like best friends or close for 30 years. And it's like, how long has it been since they've seen each other before this? And that's all stuff kind of like tied up with the weeds of the story. But Ben Mendelsohn I thought was excellent in this one, and it was really nice to see him just kind of shine in this episode. Hey guys, my least favorite character for this one, I have to say it's Nick Fury, dude. He feels out of place. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's a Skrull this whole time, which would be kind of dumb, but he's just like eccentric. And everyone is just like, you keep losing a step, and it feels like a weird choice now to kill off Maria Hill in the first episode because her interactions with Fury, I think, were really good. And now they're kind of missing that. And who knows if Maria's actually dead. I mean, they show the casket and everything, but like, considering this is a show about Skrulls where anyone can take anyone's face, they could really put anyone in the show and they could bring Maria back, or that could be like the big reveal at the end. But I hope her character is dead because it has significance and weight, kind of, even though I don't really care about Maria Hill. But I don't know, man. Samuel Jackson is such a great actor that even his bad scenes I'm enjoying, but he's just, something's missing, man. And that's why I'm like, I don't know if they're playing into it for the show, but like, he's just not like cool, badass Nick Fury. And this older, kind of out of shape, blipped, not the same Nick Fury is a little weird. And I hope there's some sort of payoff for it, but I'm not confident that they're going to stick the landing at this point. With 3 episodes to go, I'm just like, I don't know what the whole big crescendo is for this show. Like, it's like, Gravik's trying to take over the world and obliterate the human race from the inside out, and Super Skrulls and all that, but how does Nick Fury play into that? Is he going to call the Avengers back? Is that going to be cool? I don't know, but I thought Sam Jackson, despite him being a legendary actor, and I love so much of his work, this is kind of a weird role for him so far, and I'm not sure I'm vibing with it, but in this episode I thought he was the weakest part. Hey guys, the score for this one, a 7-1. I mean, it's hard because I want to give this one a higher score, but I just can't. I'm just not really caring about this show, and it sucks because we're 3 episodes in, and I should be like, okay, I can't wait for next week. I can't wait for next week. And this episode, I was like, it looks great. It's shot really well, but then you just take me out of it, dude. There's so many scenes I was just pulled out of immediately because of the tone or the writing or things that are not lining up, or like unbelievable scenes. And I'm just like, I don't care really. I think Kingsley Benadir, I think that's his name. I forget. British Drake. He's great. He's really, really good. But it's just weird. Even the scene with Mendelsohn and him, dude, where he goes and he stabs his hand, and then he like kind of goes to like almost snap his neck, but then he just kind of like chokes him. But he's like, it's like weird. He's not like putting him in a headlock. He just like kind of like stands around and chokes him, and then he kind of. It was very strange, dude. It was like sending a message, but then he was just like, dude, I'll tell everyone, and your whole army will be gone. And that was supposed to be cool, but like, you think with all these guys around him that British Drake would just take him out. But now he knows he's a threat. It's so weird, and then he gets the information. I don't know, man. This show is just a little off for me, and I was hoping it would be a lot better. I kind of just expect this from Phase 4 Marvel now, because it's just kind of like, okay, it's not terrible, but it's like we used to look forward to Marvel stuff more, and we used to get great things out of it, like First Avenger, like Winter Soldier, dude. I don't know. I was hoping that they would nail the spy aspect, but it's clear that Marvel still has some work to do, because I don't really think they're nailing it, and I think it's kind of a miss so far. But we'll see what the last 3 episodes have in store. Okay, guys, that's another episode of Off the Grid. 3 episodes down, 3 to go. How are you guys feeling about the show? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Appreciate you stopping by. And until next time, trust no one.